All right, so I thought I would read to you. I had another story in here, but I don't see it, so I don't know what happened to it. I have it already out. All right, and then we'll talk about our rating. So let's read about Mrs. Greenberg's messy Hanukkah. All right? All right. Just let me know if I'm going over or whatever you guys have to do. Let me know. I will consider quickly. All right. So it is Hanukkah. Look, and it's snowing outside, right? Woo, it's snowing. Is it snowing out here? No. But let me tell you something. You know where I live? It was snowing. And I got 3 inches of snow. So on Hanukkah. All right, so please, can we make potato latkes today? Rachel sat at the kitchen table, swinging her legs. Let's invite Miss Greenberg for dinner. Enough with the latkes, Mama threw her hands up into the air. I told you already, we're going to make them next week. And then we will invite Miss Greenberg. See, so here she is. So Mama's going to have guests. Do you have guests over when you have dinner sometimes? Yeah? Sometimes your grandma comes over, sometimes your auntie. But tonight won't feel like the first night of Hanukkah. Rachel took the menorah from the cupboard and pushed 2 candles in there. No latkes, no company? Oh, that doesn't sound like fun, right? It's more fun when we have guests, right, to celebrate the holiday. We will still light the candles, said Mama. It will be Hanukkah. Don't worry. But right now, Papa and I have lots of errands, so please, get your coat on. Rachel set up the menorah by the windowsill, and it was very, very cold and gray out there. Just the kind that begged to have something warm and something good smelling, and that gave her an idea. Can I stay at Mrs. Greenberg's house? See, so she's going to stay at Mrs. Greenberg's house. Because she knows, what does she want? She wants potato latkes, right? Yes, and we're going to sing the song of potato latkes. All afternoon, Mama shook her head. Please, said Rachel. She's not used to having a little monkey. And Papa gave Rachel a playful poke. It's almost Hanukkah, and she's all alone, Rachel pointed out. She could use a little company. So they agreed, and they said, okay, you can go over to Mrs. Greenberg's. But wait, Mama called after her. I will telephone to make sure you could go. But she was already at her house before Mama could even make the telephone call. See, because she was right across the street. And there's Mrs. Greenberg. Mrs. Greenberg is answering the phone. And she's going, yeah, sure, let her come over. It's okay. And she said Mrs. Greenberg's house was all clean and sparkly, waiting just for company. Oh, come in, stranger, she said. Was she really a stranger to her? No, but sometimes we say it's okay. She said, let's make some latkes. Latkes will make it feel like Hanukkah. And she said, okay. All right, and she said, let's give them to Mama and Papa. And maybe they will be surprised too. So they were very surprised. She said, what a wonderful idea. And everything that I need, I own, she said. Even the floor. Mrs. Greenberg handed her an apron, and they both got ready to work, grating the potatoes. And somehow a little hill slid right off the table. Oops, said Rachel. Oi, said Miss Greenberg. Oh, does that sound like a good word? Oi. Sounds like, like trouble, huh? She said, oi. And they started cleaning, and it was mushy, and it was messy. Oh, does that look like some? That looks like the way I clean. I don't know, a lot of mess over there, right? You see all that mess? Look at the floors. Look at the floor. Does the floor look clean? No. No. And she said, oh, don't worry. After all, what's a little grated potato between friends? And next, it's time for the eggs. And Rachel tried to crack them into the bowl, but just like Mama always did. And somehow it just popped right out of her hand. Oh, my gosh. It fell right onto the floor. And now she had to clean some more. Is she cleaning very well? Does it look clean? No, huh? And she gave a sigh. Oh, don't worry. What's a little egg and potato between friends? Soon we will have Hanukkah latkes, Rachel reminded her. And Mrs. Greenberg stirred everything in a big bowl and lugged over a big bag of flour. Don't we need this? And somehow the bag ripped. All the flour went all over the place. And why, powdery mess, Rachel grabbed the mop, but more she mopped, the worse it got. Never mind, I'll get it later, said Mrs. Greenberg. Don't worry. After all, what's a little flour between friends? Huh? So she said, what's a little egg? What's a little flour? And soon it will be like Hanukkah. Mama uses lots of oil, said Rachel, for the miracle, right? And you know what the miracle was? That it didn't last for one day, but it lasted how many days? 8 days. And she said, but somehow the oil came spurting out faster than Rachel had expected. And she said, oh, oops. And what do you think that Mrs. Greenberg said? Oh, don't worry. What's a little oil between friends, right? And look, here she is cleaning. Does that look like she's cleaning? No. I bet you guys could clean better than Rachel could, huh? All right, and Papa pointed